Hey, welcome back, all you out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to another episode of Lunch and Learn, a show about technology tools and how teachers and staff can use them to enhance teaching and learning. I'm your host, Jerrad Gleim, one of the EVSC ICATS, and with me in the studio today, I have two more ICATS helping me out. Over in the director's chair is Dee Higgs. And joining us today for the first time is Sarah Stevens.
Hey friends, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them over in the live chat or head on over to Twitter and hashtag your questions with EVSC Lunch Learn so that I can see them.
Yeah, so Sarah's going to actually be helping out, looking for your questions during the show, and letting me know when those questions come up, and then we can talk about them. Now, if for some reason, I know the other day on Tuesday we had to cancel our show due to technical difficulties. Seems like we're having maybe a little bit of issues today with maybe the internet speed. But if for some reason the show happens to stop, hang on, we'll be right back. But we will definitely be here. Okay, so let's talk about our topic today, which is Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark, we're going to talk about it and its role in the classroom. This presentation is a brief overview of what this product can do. Keeping in mind teachers' limited time, I'm going to stick to just the highlights. And just so you know, the presentation that you're going to see here, the slides, we will actually post them in the saved recording video here on YouTube, and you'll find that down in the description below. So I will put that link, but it's after the show, because I want you to pay attention while we're going over things during the live show and not go off and do something else. So what is Adobe Spark? Adobe Spark is a creativity tool that you and your students can use to tell stories, write papers, create graphics and videos, share ideas, and so much more. And the beautiful thing about it is it's free. There's also one more thing about it that's awesome, is that you don't have to be a graphic designer or somebody that works in Photoshop. These programs that Adobe Spark has can make anybody feel and look like a professional designer. So let's go ahead and take a quick look here at what is Spark Video. Spark Video is a story told in video form. Videos can contain photos, icons, text, video clips, which is actually a brand new feature that they just recently added, and also background music. And all the background music that Adobe Spark Video has in it is copyright free. So you don't have to worry about any copyright infringement if you decide to post your video on YouTube. Now, however, you can also use your own music. And make sure that if you do let kids use their own music, that they don't use any more than 30 seconds of any piece of music, because that does violate copyright. So we want to practice copyright usage as we teach them. And also, you can also capture your own storytelling narration. So you can record your own talk. Like, let the kids actually get their voice into the story. It's not just, hey, let's look at some pictures or some video. The kids can actually record their voice and tell what's going on the screen. So here's some examples, and I'm actually going to only look at one of these. And this first video, Our Trip to the Farm by Eden, is by a 5-year-old. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here. And this is one that Adobe actually collected and shared with us in these slides. So let's take a look.
Trip to the farm. We took a bus and I sat with my friends. The pigs are drinking milk from their mommy. This is a baby cow. It's called a calf. We got to pet the goat. The goat ate Joseph's name tag. The sheep says baa. The sheep give us milk and wool. The cow is really big. It lives in a barn. We learned the cows give us milk and yogurt. The farmer used the tractor to plow the field on the farm. This is my class. We are listening to the farmers. They tell us about the oxen. The oxen are strong workers on the farm. We got to hold the baby chicks. One pooped on my pants. I thought it was a cute chick. I had a great time on the farm. The farm is really great.
So what a cute kid. I mean, the fact that a 5-year-old can tell their own story is awesome. This tool allows that to happen. You know, kids nowadays, they can. I mean, I've got kids that my own boys, they play with iPads and all this stuff all the time. And the fact that a 5-year-old who probably is engaged with a lot of these type of tools, they know how to, run apps and things on your phone and on your iPads, and all they got to do is find the pictures and narrate what's actually on the screen. It's so super easy that they can do it. So even though they can't type and if kid doesn't know how spell words and stuff yet, that's fine. This is actually a tool that these younger kids can use. Of course, this is also good for the big kids. So this helps people just tell stories in a way that is visually appealing using video. Now that is just Spark Video. Spark also has a component where you can actually make a web page. So what is Spark Page? Spark allows students to tell longer stories as web pages. These web pages can be viewed using any web browser on any device. Pages can contain photos, icons, text, videos, links to external pages or websites, so you can actually put a button on a page that takes you somewhere. So if you want to create a page that maybe, for instance, as a teacher, you might create a page for maybe a field trip you're getting ready to do, but you also want to provide parents with a link to a form that you want parents maybe to fill out to volunteer to go on and chaperone the trip. You could put a button on there to have them go to that Google form.
Hey, Jerrad.
Yes.
Are all the pages public?
Well, actually, you can actually make pages hidden. So there is a way to make any Spark Video page or even Spark Post, you can make them where they're not public. So, but you will be able to be given a link that you can provide to folks. So that way, if you got pictures of kids, you got maybe names on there, but you don't want that to be out in the public, but you do want to share it privately between maybe families or just to show in class. You got to always keep student privacy at the front of your mind. So make sure that that is an option when you do go to share your page. So yes, you can make it private.
And can video be embedded in a Spark page?
Yes, it can.
Okay,
and
awesome.
we'll take a quick look at how to do that here in just a little bit when we do a demo. And we actually start one from scratch. We're not going to go real deep into it, but we'll start one. So here's some Spark page examples. This top row are some pages from the EVSC. These first two here are from Rachel Leslie at Vogel Elementary School here in Evansville. She was, Bill Gamola is the e-learning coach, the building ICATS support person in her building, and Bill showed Rachel all the Spark products, and she used these, she used Spark Page to have the kids create projects dealing with historical figures, holidays, and different things like that. So she absolutely loves Adobe Spark and has found a lot of uses for it with her 4th grade students. So let's go ahead and take a look here at one of these projects, and let me go full screen with this. So this is a page about Phyllis Wheatley, and if you don't know who Phyllis Wheatley is, Phyllis Wheatley is actually the first African-American female published poet, and she lived during the time of 1753 to 1784. However, she was a slave whenever her works were published, and the slave owners actually did help to publish her work and also teach her how to read and write. So, but that is a significant piece. But let's scroll down through the page so you can kind of see what is capable. So as you scroll, here's another picture that takes up the size of the screen. You can see here there's some text. So if a kid was presenting this to the class, and they're nervous because they're up in front of the class, they can read a little bit. They can put little prompts here in these little caption boxes, and as they scroll through, there's more facts. And as you go through your page, and this is one layout of how you can do these pages. So great for kids that they can find pictures. You can actually search for your own pictures using whatever resource that you want, but Adobe also has some pictures that you can actually search for within the app. So, and then you get down to the bottom. Now, what's nice down here at the bottom is, and this is also at the bottom of a Spark video, is there's a button where you can appreciate the work. And if you appreciate it, the kids they always want to find out, well, how many likes do I have on a page or my video? You as the teacher can actually look that up if you have kids that you actually monitoring their accounts. So you can actually tell them, hey, right now you have 20 likes on your page. So that's a nice little feature to have. So that is Adobe Spark page. Next up is Spark Post. Spark can also be used to create graphics for use in social media posts, posters, signs, and more. Graphics created in Adobe Spark Post can contain text and background images. Spark provides extensive design options and layouts that automatically apply with simple clicks or taps. And here's an example. If you happen to visit the ICATS website, our team's website, you will find that if you go through and look at some of the resource posts that we've got on there, you'll notice a lot of pictures that maybe have like a talking bubble here, like you see. This was actually created using Spark Post. You can upload your own images. Of course, you can also still access that same image database or thing that they have there and use the pictures that are there too. And also you can upload your own photos as well. So here's an example of Spark Post being used in the classroom. A teacher in the UK encouraged students to tweet questions to a British astronaut that happened to be on the International Space Station. But she didn't just want them just to tweet the questions just as text. She decided to have the kids use Spark Post to post their questions and have a little bit of imagery on there, and to make it look really cool, first of all, on Twitter, but also to show that the astronaut they really care about receiving an answer back, and just want to add a creative twist to it. So very nice example of how posts can be used in the classroom. So here we're going to take a quick look at a video that Adobe produced about Adobe Spark. This video is of a 4th grade teacher and how she uses Spark in her classroom.
My students this year are amazing. They love to learn. They are ready for anything. I am always looking for new ways for them to be able to demonstrate their knowledge, new things for them to use. We are very creative. I love Adobe Spark because it keeps my students completely engaged. It's also intuitive, so it's not difficult for them to jump right in. It is endless what I can do with this. We can do it for history. We can even do it for science experiments and investigations. We decided to make a Spark video about what makes 4th grade awesome.
In 4th grade, we did shell art.
Probably the biggest reason they love it is because they can personalize it. There is a lot of choice involved. Every single person's is totally unique. The voice, the pictures, the icons, the text. They also can choose a variety of themes for their video. It really gives them a feel of they are truly making a movie. It's so much more than just a paper. It's an entire experience that people can watch.
We loved The Lion King, and in the play, I was a hyena.
I love the fact that they can use their voices, bringing life to what they actually have written.
And in the play, I was a hyena.
It makes it so personal to them. They can use it at home, they can work on it no matter where they are. They can share with their family and their grandparents and their classmates. It's really nice to be able to give them a glimpse into what their children are doing during the day, what they're learning. I think what I love most about my job is when they know that they have learned something and that they own it, and they're like, oh, I got it. It's me. I'm always trying to make learning fun and exciting and engaging. And when I'm using Adobe Spark, it's fun to learn it, it's fun to share what we've learned. It's fun.
Okay. And she's right. It is fun. So it's fun to create. It's fun to get into these programs. Kids can do so much with these. So just let your kids loose. Just give them a chance to take a project that you guys are working on in the classroom and try this out. Instead of doing a poster project, do this and let the kids choose which app to do. So, and to use Spark, you can either do it on your computer, so any web browser, go to spark.adobe.com. If you have iPads in the classroom, there are apps for that, okay? So you have Spark Post app, you have a Spark Page, and Spark Video app. I guess you, yeah.
Is it available for Android devices?
It is not available for Android devices right now. However, if you have an Android tablet, you still could use your web browser to access the program. So now we're going to take a quick look at a hands-on. I'm just going to real quick just show how I'm going to start one of these. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. I noticed that we're already about quarter after, so we're already 15 minutes in. Want to keep this show nice and short. So let's create some sparks. Pew, pew. All right, here we go. So first, when you go to spark.adobe.com using your web browser, you will, first of all, if you've never logged in before, you need to create an Adobe ID. All right, so you can, if you've never created an Adobe ID before, you can create one. They give you the options of just creating an Adobe ID and just plugging in your email address. They do have a button there if you want to try logging in using Gmail or Facebook. And just real quick, just to let you know, I think we've already talked about the, Sarah, we already talked about the 13 and under, didn't we, or not?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. So we maybe talked about it before the show. But kids under the age of 13 cannot create their own user accounts. So you do have to create a classroom account. So, but I would make sure that if you are a teacher, that you create your own separate teacher account. Now, for those of you out here in the EVSC, you got a nice little advantage. We recently migrated to Google, right? So use your Google email address for your own teacher account and use your old Outlook email address, the evsc.k12.in.us, use that email address for your classroom kiddos. So that way they can have one account and you can get your kids into it. And then you share the password for that account on the Adobe website. Don't use your email password, okay? This is a separate website, separate from your work, so make sure you create a separate password that's not the same. But give those kids that account. So once you get in, up here in the corner, there's the Hamburger Stack. Let me zoom in real quick. Ooh. Sorry about that. My Chrome disappeared. So up here in the corner is the Hamburger Stack button. You click that, and you get this menu that pops up. You could go to projects you've already created, which right now they're already on the screen, as you can see. Or I can click and go start creating a project. We're going to start off and create just the beginning of a video project. So when you click the video, up comes a prompt to say, hey, every great story starts somewhere. Tell us your idea or your title. You can always change it later. So just because you type in something here doesn't mean that you're stuck with it. I'm going to make today's quick demo all about whenever we went to the Abraham Lincoln's boyhood home. So Abraham Lincoln boyhood. I'm just going to call it that. Click next. Here's what I really love about video. This helps with storyboarding. If you're unfamiliar with what storyboarding is, storyboarding is how when you create a video, it's how you start with the beginning, the middle, and the end, and it just helps you get a good flow of content going through your video. So this is where I'm not a professional video maker. Well, here you go. Here are some templates that are already set up that will prompt the user to plug in certain pieces. Doesn't mean you're fully tied to that, and nobody will know if you change it. But this will help you have a little bit of a template to get started. So with the Abraham Lincoln boyhood home, I'm going to tell what happened. I'm going to click that one. And here it's loading. Something else that's nice about Adobe Spark Video, they give you a little bit of a 1-minute tutorial. We're not going to watch that. You can watch that on your own. We've already kind of watched enough videos already. So I'm going to click OK, I'm ready. So here I am. And you'll notice down the bottom, here's our timeline, okay? Our storyboard. And you'll see here that it says, describe who or what your story will follow. And if you click on the next one, show the backdrop or setting for what happened. So I'm going to go ahead here and look. Now here's what we can actually put into our video up here. So video, photo, icon, text. You also over here on the right hand side have different themes you can choose from and different music, background music that you can have that will play in the background. By the way, I can't hear what's actually playing. We weren't able to make that happen for me, but you can definitely hear it. So I'm not going to change the music, but just so you know, there's all this cool music here. But then each slide can have a different layout. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the full screen plus thing. And I'm going to choose photo. And I'm going to go to my Creative Cloud account. And I've got some Lincoln Boyhood photos all ready to go. And here I have a photo of the class. They might be thinking, hey, Jerrad, this is blurry. What's going on? I purposely did that because these kids, and since I'm showing this on a live YouTube show, I want to protect these kids and their identities. So I'm going to leave that. I made them purposely blurry in Photoshop. So here on these little plus signs, you can always change what's in that area. I can come here and I can click on photo and add another photo on top of that and have the other photo just as the background. But I'm going to add some text. I'm going to choose text. Abraham Lincoln Boyhood Home. There we go. I'm going to hit enter. Nope, enter just did that. So there's that. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to record some narration. The button down here at the bottom allows you to record your narration. So here's some tips. First of all, number one, where is your microphone on your device? If you're on a laptop, many times you just got to find it, okay? Do some testing. If you have access to USB microphones, such as a headset or a snowball mic, if you're used to doing this kind of stuff, if whatever type of microphone, if you can get one, try to do it. On an iPad, and we're always getting new iPads all the time, the microphone is down here on the bottom. And you can get microphones that can plug into the bottom of an iPad too. So I'm going to lean down and I'm going to record some narration. When you start, I always tell folks, push down, wait a second, count 1001, then start recording your voice. Don't let off the button too soon. Wait like a 1001 when you're done narrating. So let's test this. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it not right. Let's try it real quick. Abraham Lincoln Boyhood Home. Now I'm going to play it back. Oh, it didn't record. Hold on. Let me go back. Go to here. Let me try this again. Abraham Lincoln Boyhood Home. Okay, so it must be there's some confusion with my audio device on my computer with our streaming. We had this fixed yesterday when we did some testing, but of course you're hooking it up today and it didn't work. So as you can see here, you'll notice the waveform that will show up. So as you're going through and doing this, make sure that you see that it's working. The play button right here, the person can actually play back their audio to hear how they sound. They can then push again on the button and re-record what they're talking about, and it should take it. So in fact, it should give me a longer version of the waveform here. So technical difficulties, not a bad thing. We can deal with that. So now I'm going to go to another slide. I'm going to put in another photo. It's going to bring back up my Creative Cloud where I left off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. Let's try out an image search real quick. I'm going to click on Find Photos here. And type in Lincoln and press enter. And remember, this is coming from Flickr and Pixabay. So there's a picture of Abraham Lincoln. I can put him in there. If I don't like the way it's laid out, I can actually double click on the picture or click on the picture, but it also depends on the width and the height. So I think that's where it is. So if I'm going to change it to a different layout. So just one thing. I can also go here to another slide, add another photo, and let's put in this Lincoln. I'm going to change my layout. I'm going to do two things this time. There's Abraham Lincoln there. I'm going to add in, actually, let's try the icons. Lincoln. Hey, look at that. Well, I don't like that one. There we go. Well, still, yeah, there we go. So there's an Abraham Lincoln. So I don't like the theme. Let's go with a different theme. Let's go school book. There we go. That's a lot. Oh, that's a lot better. I really like that. The program also allows you to rearrange your slides, so kids don't have to go, oh, you know what? I really want this slide to be back here, and then don't have them delete it. They can actually click and hold. You notice that the cursor turned into a hand, and then you can drag and drop it, move it back. If somebody does need to delete a slide, you just click on the little icon right here, and you can come up to delete, or you can even duplicate. So if you have a nice little series of slides going on, you can actually duplicate it. So last thing I'm going to show here before we move on is the share. So when you go to share, you'll notice that you give it a name, pick category. You can put in a subtitle. For kids, turn off the author, and also turn off get noticed. Okay, so that way, and then of course you can actually download it. But if you create the unlisted link, then it'll just take a second and it'll produce it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because that's going to take too long. Okay, so anyway, how are we doing on time? That's probably...
Hey,
Ooh,
Jerrad,
we're kind of going slow here, so we're gonna back out of video. So that's just video. Page, again, I'm just gonna try to hit the highlights. I'm gonna go a little faster here. Abraham Lincoln Boyhood. And I'm gonna come down here and type in September 2017. I'm gonna click plus sign to add in a photo here at the top. Lincoln. What we got here? I'm going to use the same photo with the class. Then when I scroll down, I'm presented with those options. So I'm presented with photo, text. You can add in a button field, a video, a photo grid, or even a slideshow. I'm going to do a photo grid real quick. Let me zoom back out. So I'm just going to pick my photos. Let's see. I'm going to delete some of these. I want to take this one out. Trash. And this one, and this one. And then I click Save. And then as you can see here, as I scroll down, then when somebody clicks, first of all, I got to hit Preview to test it out. And when I click on it, there you can see the photo. It has all the things that you're used to seeing whenever you're creating a web page. If you've ever done a Weebly before, this should be pretty easy. Slideshow. I'm just going to do a regular photo here. I will do, oh, here's the gravesite of Nancy Hanks Lincoln. And you know what? I don't like the layout. So I'm going to click on the photo. Then I can do fill the screen. And you'll notice over here that there's actually a caption box. So I can type in grave site of Nancy Hanks Lincoln. So I'm going to zoom out. So here we go. Here's all that. So, and then, okay, you can play with this some more. I'm trying to keep this short here. So when I go to share, again, turn off get noticed. And just to show you another quick shortcut, if you're really concerned about privacy with it, if you go to your user settings, by clicking on your name and go to settings, you can actually default to unlisted. So that way you don't have to do that every time. All right, and last thing, on Spark Post. So Lincoln Boyhood Field Trip. So I put in my title. Now here's the cool thing that has really only been new with posts within the last year is actually choosing all the different graphic sizes. So if you were going to post this to your Facebook page for your classroom or your Twitter, your poster size, you can click more sizes and there is just a ton of options. So choose one. I'm going to go ahead and choose wide. Click continue. And then here's where I can start putting in pictures. Now, it's going to load a picture right here at first. To change it, just click on it and then click replace. Find photos. Type in Lincoln. Enter. There's a picture that I scoped out earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. There's Honest Abe. I'm going to move him a little bit. Actually, when you click on the picture, you also can adjust. I'm going to scale him up a bit. Ooh, got big there, didn't he? And actually, you know what? I think I had a different size. Well, that's something else. Okay, well, I'm just going to... So Lincoln Boyhood Home, I've got some examples that I'll share with you and how I've adjusted and made these look. But by the way, and you're not just limited to just the one text field that you can add to this as well. And you can also do multiple pictures in an Adobe post. So it's really cool as far as not just one photo, but as many as you want and the different sizes that you have. So you can actually make photo collages really super easy with Adobe Post. The color on the font, I could change that to something I want. It does give you suggested colors. So let me go here, and if I click on design, I can actually have it give me some different examples of different designs. Now, you might be thinking, well, why didn't it change the background color? Because I added my own photo. When you add your own photo and then you come down through here through the design ideas, it's just really super easy to let it give you some different looks. Try them out. And then see if you like any of that. Ooh, well, it's almost kind of dark, the fact that it's red. So anyway, but then you can also add more text. You can add another photo. So our field trip's coming soon. Then of course I can make that smaller. I can change the shape. This is really not the example of what I really wanted to show as far as the layout of this, but I'll show you what I did create in my projects. And then of course then you can go to share when you're done. You know, again, play around with all the little different options up here in the top, see what you think, and then of course you create that public link, or you can download your photo. So, but going back to my examples, I'm going to go back to my projects. So here's the one that I really did. So I created a speech bubble, put in 7 years ago, changed the font. I added 2 more text fields. I used this get ready, and I had a different shape in the background. I also used a rectangle background for our field trip part. And then you can then export it. So that is Adobe Spark, video, page, and post. So let's go back here to Sarah. Sarah, anything else out there?
Well, we had a couple questions, but we had another user answer their questions, which was really awesome to see that interaction. But I have one more, actually.
Sure.
So I noticed while you were working that you didn't hit save. Is it saving for me automatically?
That is an awesome question. Yes, it's saving all the time. However, you know, just if all of a sudden your browser crashes or the app crashes on your iPad, if it doesn't get to upload that information to Adobe, it won't be there. But yes, it is all the time saving. And always make sure that you don't just give it time to sit there, because it'll save. I always like going to the share button when I do decide to quit the program, just so that way I know that there is kind of a save happening, because I like to switch some of the settings or do something like that. So I generally go to share, just so that way I know for sure that there was some interaction between the app and Adobe's servers.
And one more.
Sure.
I know that as a previous world language teacher, a lot of times when I'd find a new tool, it would not be compatible with my language. Do you know if other languages can be used?
I think this may be something they may be working on. I don't know exactly if I do know the answer to that question. But you know what? But that was your question, correct?
That's my own question, yeah.
That is something that I will definitely post on Twitter and in the chat pod to let everybody know if that's actually a feature or not. So that's a great question. And I just thought of a question. Is there a limit to how many posts or Sparks that you can actually create? There is not. It's a free Adobe account. They do have paid Adobe accounts for the Creative Cloud, but there is no limit to how many Sparks, whether it's video, websites, and posts that you can create. There's no limit. So that's another nice thing, especially for educators that we are low on money all the time. for buying stuff in our classrooms.
Yep.
So real quick, I wanted to show this. Are we back on my screen? Okay. Real quick, sometimes the mobile apps on the iPad do have some extra features that the desktop app does not have. But it's not a deal breaker though. Spark Post on the iPad actually has it to where you can add an animation and create like a 4-second video with your post. So I'm going to click on here's the Abraham Lincoln one. I just did a slide in of the text. So it's just a 4-second little video. Might be something if you do produce, you know what, it might be something cool to put in maybe in an Adobe video project or even on a Spark page project. So let me go to the next slide. Resources. So besides contacting the ICATS and finding out ideas on what kind of projects can I use this for, there are free resources and lesson plans. Yes, I said free. Free resources and lesson plans on a special website that Adobe has for educators called the Adobe Education Exchange. You can go there, go to it at edx.adobe.com. Tons of educators are on the website. People contribute lesson plans ideas. Adobe has some of their own resources that they post on a lot of the tools that Adobe makes. But you will find there are tons of educators in all grade levels. We're not talking just the Creative Cloud programs. We're talking Spark. Spark is a big one. We're trying to get kids into creating, be creative. And before they even get to a class in high school that deals with Photoshop or making videos in Premiere, we want them being creative and making things, and Adobe Spark is a great place to start, even in the elementary grades and middle school. They also have, for Adobe Spark, a special guide that is for coaches and teachers. So if you're a tech coach like we are, or if you're just a general teacher, there is a guide on how to approach and get your classroom started and using Adobe Spark. It also has a frequently asked questions section to it. So if there's questions that you have, it's a great place to get some of those questions answered for you. And again, the website for going to Adobe Spark is spark.adobe.com. And we've already gone through the questions. I've also have some questions. Make sure that kids don't post personal pictures and names. If you want to do a name, have them either use just their first name or make up a pen name. Okay? But anyway, make sure that you are keeping student privacy in the front of your mind all the time. Again, the images that are in the Spark image search come from Flickr and Pixabay. They have been marked safe. They've been tagged safe, and they are Creative Commons, so they are licensed for reuse for free. But if for some reason, if you are using Spark in your classroom and the kids search for a picture and something comes up that is inappropriate, you can email Adobe at hellospark@adobe.com and make sure that you provide specifics of what the image is and what the search term is that that was used to find it, and they will make sure that image gets taken down. It's so far, it's been great. There have been no issues as far as I know with images coming up that are inappropriate. But if something does, do know that Adobe is listening and they will respond to make sure that it's safe for your classroom. So, all right. See, so we're done with all the questions. So let's next talk about upcoming shows. With coming up, actually, I didn't update my notes here on my slides. So since this is the last day of the week for our shows for this week, sorry about that. Next week is iStep. We have standardized testing here in Indiana. The next 2 weeks, myself and my wonderful team here will be out in the schools helping to support the teachers as the students take the test. So we will not have lunch and learn shows for the next 2 weeks for the remainder of April. Starting May 2nd, we will be Dee Higgs will actually be in the presenter chair, and she'll be presenting Promethean Active Inspire Toolbox Customization. And she'll show you a lot of the cool things with Promethean that maybe you did or didn't know about Active Inspire. That Thursday, actually, so I have on the slide that you guys are seeing right now is employee access. I know we had a show that was going to be dedicated to our employee website that we have for our pay stubs and all that good stuff and our contracts. We are not going to do a live show on that now because we've got other shows lined up. So what we are going to do though is we will create a YouTube video. We're going to record a tutorial, and give you all that information and let you know when that actually goes live. So do be looking for a video on that, but it will not be a live show. But then on Thursday, May 4th, you do want to watch the show because may the 4th be with you. It will be a special show. I'm sure you'll notice down there the icon has a little bit of a Star Wars theme to it. Cyber ransomware. This is kind of a new thing that is come about in the last couple years that is bad, and teachers may or may not know about it. What it is if you sign up for something, you give access to sending somebody like somebody sends you an email with a link to something that gives them access to, let's say, your Google Drive, or here, download this file and run this program, and it has a virus laced in it. It'll actually take control of your computer and the files that are on it and hold them ransom. So that day on May 4th, we'll talk about how to use the force to prevent the empire from taking over your computer files. So, all right, and let's see. And one quick reminder, all of you EVSC folks out there, don't forget about the IT helpline. If you have tech questions about things going on in your classroom, make sure that you either call 1-855-55 on your IP telephone, or you can email at it.helpline@evsck12.com. That's the email address. And the folks down here in the IT department, they'll be glad to answer your questions. So that's our show for today. I would like to thank Dee and Sarah for being here and helping me out. I also want to thank Bill Gamola and Rachel Leslie for the Adobe Spark pages from Vogel Elementary. And I want to thank you students too. You guys did a great job, and you really worked hard, and I'm proud that you did such a great job on those. And I also want to thank Adobe real quick. They provide, by the way, if you do go and get those Spark EDU resources that I included here in the presentation, these slides are actually part of that download. So I modified the presentation to make it my own. So thank you, Adobe, for creating that resource to kind of help get me started. So don't forget to tweet us and leave comments on YouTube or on the ICATS website. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.